Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on the video. Which axe is better for bushcraft? The Gransfors Burks Small Forest or the Gransfors Burks Scandinavian axe? Coming up. Hope you guys stay with me. Okay guys, which one's better? If you've seen any of my other videos, this axe, which is the small forest, is in probably 90% of my videos. The Scandinavian axe I just recently bought, really like it. It's a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier, but I've got my own bias one way or the other, and so we're going to put it through its paces, both of them today, and see what they can do. First thing we're going to do is just cut down a couple trees, one with the small forest, one with the Scandinavian, and see which one it's easier to do, cut down the tree with. First up is the Scandinavian axe, which is a little larger. Alright, it's not a super big tree. It's probably about 4 inches across or so, 3.5, 4 inches, but it's enough to show what kind of chopping power this sucker's got. Alright, you could see right there that Scandinavian made short work of this size tree. Probably could have actually cut it down a little bit quicker. My aim was a little off. Next up, the small forest axe. This tree is roughly about the same size. 3.5, 4 inches. This might be just a touch bigger, but close enough. This one definitely did take just a tiny bit longer. This tree was probably a tiny bit bigger, and this tree looks like it wasn't quite as green, but it's a pretty fair test. All right, now let's just do some simple carving and see which one, feels better when you're carving. All right, let's check it out first, just for some light carving when you're holding about in the middle of the axe. When you're trying to get a little bit heavier work done. Let's say if I was just trying to flatten this off. Works good for that. What about when you're doing some fine stuff, when you're holding up closer to the head like this? Works good for that. Would work good even if I'm carving spoons. And I can still, reach back with just one hand and still use this. It's a little bit unwieldy because of how long the handle is, but you can still do it. Alright, that was the small forest axe. let's try the big brother, the Scandinavian. All right, first we're gonna go like about in the middle of the axe. I mean, you can tell serious chopping power with this one. And then when you go up a little closer to the head, the only thing I will say about this one is I'm hitting the handle. Let me move my camera so you can see. See how the handle does get like, you know, because it's just so much longer. That would be one downside to this. And then we'll go back to the Gransfors small forest and you can see the difference. Go back to the small forest and you can see how the handle, since it's shorter, cuts just as good for the small work as that one, but it's safer because that's up out of the way. So that is one downside to the larger axe. Alright guys, let's see how this does on splitting. Before you freak out, this is actually an old stump. It is rotten. I don't have a nice chopping block, but generally when you're out in the woods, you know, camping or hiking or whatever, you're not going to have a nice perfectly flat stump for a chopping block. So this is pretty realistic when it comes down to it. And first up, we're going to go with the Scandinavian and see how it does. Yes, this is small wood. Either one of these will chop through this pretty easily. But generally, you're not getting, you know, when you're camping and hiking and stuff, you're not going to have a way of cutting down a tree that's this big around to split up for firewood. So you could go bigger than this, but this is a good test. So first up, Scandinavian. I think this one's got some knots in it. Wow, this must be really knot. Had some pretty big knots in it. Get one more chop out of it. Maybe. So that was the Scandinavian. Didn't have too big of a deal. There was a couple really big knots, and the stump itself is a little softer than wood, so it has a little bit more, you know, there's a little bit more of a give underneath, but still did a great job. Let's try the small forest now. All right, small forest. Small forest did a great job also. Okay guys, leave it in the comments below which one you think is better. Do you think the small forest axe is better? It's a little lighter, a little smaller, a little easier to put in a backpack. Or the Scandinavian. It's a little heavier, a little bit bigger. It's gonna be able to do bigger jobs, bigger chopping power and stuff. I mean, which one do you guys think is better? Leave it in the comments below. The other thing is, if you think I should have done this on larger pieces of wood, I should have chopped down larger trees, given this thing a lot more workout than what I did, I'm more than willing to do that. I'm trying to keep these videos short so you guys are not like, oh, for the love, next video. I mean, I do appreciate you guys sticking with me all the way to the end. You tell me which one you think is better. They're both great axes. I love them both. If it was me, as I promised, I was going to tell you which one I thought was better. I wouldn't say one's better. I say it's completely up to preference. And if it's up to me, I'm gonna reach for this probably 90% of the time. The other 10, if I'm gonna go back in the mountains and I'm building a cabin or I'm cutting down large amounts of wood, I'm gonna pick the Scandinavian. But normally, I'm gonna pick the small forest. I can do every job just about that I can do with this one. It's just gonna be take a little bit longer with this one. But that's just me. If you think I'm, bad idea, good idea, let me know. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. That really helps support the channel. Just go ahead and punch that like button. And I'm gonna have on the screen in just a second some playlists of some other of my videos that you guys, I know you really will enjoy. I've been going back through my old videos and picking out the ones that were just garbage and taking them off the channel, the ones that weren't viewed very high, and you guys commented the sound was bad and everything. And I've really been trying to work hard to make my sound better and the video quality better. So if you have any questions about that, please leave it in the comments. The other thing is, if you have any idea for upcoming videos that you really want to see, leave them in the comments. If I get enough people to comment on wanting something done, I'll have it done. And thanks guys, see ya.